And welcome back, everybody, to
Woo!
Advanced Dungeons and Intermediate Dragons. We're back for episode 3, right?
Episode
Episode
3
three?
is correct.
Well, let's do and let's get the bread. Alrighty. So, gonna do a quick recap. I haven't said it in years, by the way. First time I've said it in I think 3 or 4 years. But anywho,
Yeah, but getting that
quick
bread.
let me get that bread. Let's cook. Quick little recap for those who have not been here or have forgotten what was going on. The Mandem, our illustrious main characters, have returned to school. They've gone back to True Arms Academy in an effort to further their academic journeys, learn new things, and also maybe for once in their life not play a part in some huge catastrophe. Take a chill pill every now and then. Who knows how that's going to turn out? Knowing the track record, probably not well.
Yeah,
But
this
we
is
hope
going to be
for the
horrendous.
best. It's going to be a wonderful semester. What are you talking about? But in any case, we come back into the story with the team having just started the first week of the new semester, getting acclimated to not just a new normal, right? It's the new school year. Everything is sort of still settling in, but also a new member, Ace, who had joined at the beginning of this new adventure that they're going on, with the previous additional member, Kronk, leaving to find themselves a journey that who knows how long it's going to last. But in the interim, Ace, this sarcastic ass motherfucking bard, is here. Okay, so in any case, we will go ahead and jump in. I don't think anything has been too crazy in the meantime. Last we left off, the team had just finished the first day and was immediately like, let's go drinking. First day of class, immediately let's go drinking. So I think we ended with the team heading to school again, I think is where we
For
left
day
off.
2.
For day 2. So we're gonna jump right into that. There's gonna be some mechanics that's gonna get explained here shortly in relation to school stuff. But in the meantime, before we get to that point on, is there anything that the team would like to do in the morning? I know we stopped when you guys were getting out the door, walking to school. But is there anything you guys wanted to do in that little morning period before we get to the day proper?
No? All good.
I think I'm not sure if we
Morning time,
covered it, but I think we were.
I just need to roll my little feet thing characters.
Yes.
I pulled up
Go
the
for
wrong character. Hilarious. I'm
Rolling
not playing
your
a
feet.
paladin. Shut up. I'm not playing a
Got
fairy
feet
paladin
today?
right now. Fritos, hello?
Right here?
D6.
On ADID.
Ooh, a 1 to start the session.
Ooh, love that.
But was your hardware acceleration?
No, no, it's been fine. It was still on from last D&D. So if we get into combat, I have 3 ticks of being able to subtract 1d6 from something someone rolls. So we have the
Okay,
subtracting instead of the add one.
Everyone
Sounds good.
has some similar feat because they
love-
long rested around me. That's something to fight for. I've put a screenshot in it, but in chat at some point. But you can either choose to automatically succeed on a saving throw, negate a critical hit, turning it into a regular hit, or re-roll damage dice for an attack. Because you long rested around me, your boy.
I
Nice.
constantly forget to roll these, so this is me reminding myself.
You got it. Not a problem. And yeah, I figure if we do get into any sort of combat, then we'll have a quick little refresher and get everybody ready for that sort of thing if it comes to it. But in the meantime, you make your way as the 4 of y'all's. I think you guys had decided to walk to school today, right? Instead of taking
Correct.
taking the dragon turtle. So you guys decided to walk across the city. So it's taking a little bit longer, right, than the straight shot on the dragon turtle, but it's very scenic, and you get to see, people going about their daily lives, and the city almost coming to life again for the day, after the quietness that was the previous night. You don't encounter any sort of issues or obstacles on your journey into the academy. You note that, repairs and recovery efforts have mostly been completed within the city itself. There's some, some places that are still cordoned off, you can see in the distance, and some places that are still being worked on. Likely those that have been either more severely damaged or met with some more esoteric magical effects that require a little bit more of a deft touch. But aside from that, the general chaos, the general destruction, and all that has mostly been mitigated and repaired by the time today rolls around. So, city pretty much back to normal, and you can see that not only in the faces of those around you, but also the city itself. Now, walking into the academy front, gate, essentially, you can see that the academy also is starting to get back into the swing of things. You can see, students of all races, of all species, sizes, coloration. They're, this like crisscrossing sort of conglomeration of people. Some coming from perhaps an early morning lesson, and you see the others going to their classes. Some in a hurry, running as if they may be late. Others on a leisurely walk, with cups of, coffee or whatever it is they choose to drink in hand. There's even some students that you pass by, you can see sitting underneath trees, just talking amongst themselves. It is quite normal, all things considered, and maybe something that's, because it's so normal, it's a little bit weird for you guys, right? You guys have been kind of on a go. So seeing this kind of normalcy may be a little bit different from what you are used to. But regardless, as you head into your first proper day of classes, that's not just, the syllabus and going across that, I'm going to go ahead and explain how we're pretty much going to do the school bits for the upcoming sessions and the system that we're kind of going to run this by, so that you guys know, but also the audience knows what is to be expected. So, in an effort to keep everything as straightforward as we can, we're gonna play each week on like a 1 week basis, one school week essentially. And how that's going to go is that every week in game time of school, there's going to be a role associated with it. Now, this role essentially is just a very basic way of determining how well you did on that week. There is a minimum DC. It's 14. It's not that high, but it's a decent amount. You are in a university. And essentially, if you beat that DC, you gain 1 academic point. So you get 1 point, essentially indicating that, 1 school point, basically saying, hey, this week you did all right in school, you did good, right? If you fail that check, you get what's called academic exhaustion, which means you may have done well, but you tired yourself out doing school, whether it's mentally or whatever it may be, or you may just not have done well that week. Regardless, every week you're going to acclimate either getting 1 school point, 1 academic point, or not getting one. And that point is how we're going to determine things like grades and whatnot at the very, very end. Now there's more nuances to that, but that's like the overarching, like, hey, this is basically what's going on. Now, in terms of the actual check itself, the good thing here is you can choose what you are good at. What I mean by that is your checks doesn't need to be, say, a history check or a nature check. You can if you want to, but you choose the check that you can essentially justify. What I mean by that is, say somebody, if your character is academically inclined and does really well studying, like book studying, then yes, you can roll, a history check or an arcana check, and that can count for you. If you succeed in that check, that counts for your academic point. But if you're, say, let's say your character is, is maybe not so book inclined, but is very good at, let's say, talking to people, right, or whatever it is, and you want to use persuasion to do the check because you persuaded other people to help you with your schoolwork or to turn in your work for you, or whatever it is, right? That can be your role. It's whatever you choose to do. You just have to justify your choice, essentially.
Gotcha.
So I've had people use intimidation because they bullied other kids to do their work for them, and that was fine. Maybe not the greatest in your academic record, but like in terms of getting that point, it worked.
How am I gonna do sleight of hand here?
So
I'm gonna steal other kids' homework. Yeah, stealing people's
it's
homework.
Whatever you're doing. Now, keep in mind, all this does eventually have a culminating effect where it does play out in the grander scheme of things. But on the micro level, you can do whatever you want to get through that week. Is basically what this point is.
That's. I have. Are we able to modify these rolls at all, like guidance or bardic inspiration or whatever?
I would say so. I would say so. Generally, as long as you're like, okay, for example, bardic inspiration, it makes sense if you're, as that's part of your.
I'm worried about Geraldine mostly.
I'm worried about Geraldine.
Yeah, Gerald's gonna flunk out of school because of cat shit rolls.
I'm really worried about that. So you're saying I have to make these checks and roll well to be good at school with a 20 in? Like, I could fail tests. No, you're muted.
We lost your audio.
Hello.
There you go.
The tests are separate. This is just on a week-to-week basis. Yeah, tests are separate.
God, okay.
Cat, what classes are Geraldine taking? Just the main four. The mace is also in. Right.
And then I think I have a herbology?
You have alchemy. You have alchemy and then planar geography.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, see, I'm in interplanar business and cooking, so I can't help you out in either of those. Sorry, pal.
Well, we're just luckily we're doing the one for the whole, like, we're not doing one per class, so it's just the whole.
Oh, okay.
Great. So if I fail a week, I fail all of them.
So can you choose to make it a saving throw instead?
If you explain your reasoning, I can most likely accept it.
I'm scared.
Right,
Is that my reason?
Cat, if you can convince Brandon to make it a saving throw, and you have the something to fight for buff that I gave you, you can just automatically succeed on it, alright?
Okay.
But you gotta see, this is a real life persuasion check right here, pal.
No, that's fine. The issue is that I'm gonna have
I'll
to
pay you $20,
write...
Brandon, please.
The issue is that I'm gonna have to write in reasons why my luck has icy affected Geraldine. She's on her period. I don't know, man. She's not having a Baja Blast.
She's not having a Baja Blast. But you could succeed. You never know. Mind you,
Brandon, be the realest you've ever been in your entire life.
Mind you, if you remember, back before we started the stream, everybody does get one reroll per session. That is a thing that people get.
Yeah.
Now I know your luck is infamous for being just absolutely abysmal.
We're gonna.
Can I guidance my academic role? Can I be like, it's on God as I submit this assignment?
Yeah, we said guidance, bardic inspo.
Good stuff. So just like,
The
Let's
way
go.
I am
Big,
going to
big
quit,
homie in the sky, help me out. Yeah.
I'm going to quit the game if Kyler aces classes that GB fails because I roll like shit. I will end it all.
Look, you're gonna have guidance. You're gonna have bardic inspiration. You're gonna have a reroll, and you have 20 intelligence. Look.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anywho, before we get to the rules, let me go through this really quickly because we started in the middle. So basically, tests and midterms and finals are separate. I'll explain those when we get to those time periods. They're not anytime close right now, so we won't talk about that. This is more on just a day-to-day, weekly basis. Now, in terms of, and I know I told you guys this out of stream before the stream, so that those watching can know the general format going forward as well, is that we are going to be playing a sort of a hybrid between sort of a montage-y sort of play style and then back to in-game real time. What I mean by that is that the Monday to Friday equivalent, essentially your school week, is going to be gone through pretty quickly. We're going to do summarizations and things like that. If there's anything the team would like to go through during the week and roleplay, raise your hand, let me know whenever. That's stuff we can roleplay out. It's not that you can't roleplay for those 5 days, but what's going to be kind of montage through is just the classes, essentially, because that's going to be more or less fairly similar on a day-to-day. Now, if there's field trips, exams, special exhibits, things that will be played in a real one-to-one time basis like we do normally for D&D. And the weekends, when there are no classes in session, that's going to be played normally in game time. So in essence, Monday to Friday is going to be sort of a montage through for classes specifically, and then everything else, whether it's stuff you want to do in the evenings on weekdays or weekends themselves, will be played on a real-time basis. So that way, we're not sitting through classes for every single single day. Now, again, if there's something you want to do any specific day of the week, you're more than welcome to do so. We can roleplay those out. That is not a problem. It's just if you're like, if I ask, is there anybody doing anything from Monday to Friday, and everybody's like, nope, we're just studying and doing normal stuff, then cool, we can move on. But if somebody says, hey, on Wednesday I want to go do this one thing, or talk to this one person, then we can do that pretty much. Cool. Alrighty, now we can get to the rules. So, basically, very simple. DC is 14. You have one reroll per person, as you do every session. You don't have to use it for this, but a lot of people tend to use it for this. You can choose whatever roll you want to roll. It can be history, arcana, nature, survival, whatever you want to do. Persuasion, doesn't matter, as long as you gave a reasoning for it. Now, again, also, these rolls are not locked in. It's not like you only have to roll one thing. You can be like, I want to roll persuasion this week, and then next week you're like, okay, maybe I actually did study, I want to roll history. Right? It's all up to you guys. So,
different
we'll go
method
down the line.
of studying.
Yeah, different method of study, exactly. So we're going to go down the line through each person, and just let me know what you want to roll. All right? So, we'll go from the first one, which is our sarcastic Chronology Bard Ace. What did you want to roll for this one?
All right, so let me start with what I'm gonna roll. My highest stats sleight of hand. I don't think that's where I'm starting right now. I still have a +8 to perception. I think perception just makes sense here. I think that I don't even really think that requires too much of an explanation. Perception,
Sure, yeah.
Paying attention in class, taking notes, understanding what's going on. I think that just really makes the most sense. I don't think it has too much of a justification. Just perceive, idiot.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then it comes down to making the roll. I can't use Bardic Inspiration on myself.
Okay. You can guide yourself. Right.
This? So here's where I get kind of. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see how many points I can get off these rolls. All right.
Yeah. Hit
So
me with it.
does this count all of the classes, including the secondary classes?
Yeah, generally, like on a grander scheme of things, just so we're not worrying about, or more that I don't have to keep track of all your classes and your specific grades for each class. But
Okay.
yeah, it's more of a grander like. This doesn't represent your grades necessarily. It's just how well you did on a general scale for that week, right? It's not necessarily like it's not like if you get a 20, you get A's every class. It's just you did
Right.
pretty good, you know.
But I
over the
am
course
like
of that week.
attending all of these classes, and that's
Correct.
a part of this. Okay.
Correct.
So let me toss this by you, Brandon. All right.
Hit me with it.
So I am one of the classes I'm in. One of my elective is the cooking club, and
Right.
as someone who is a mark of hospitality halfling, I have a lot of cooking based buffs. One of which is I get an extra 1d4 on cooking based checks. I would consider this a skill that has to do with cooking. Attending the cooking club, I think that I should have an extra 1d4 on this roll for that reason.
Okay. All right. Okay. I can accept that.
Brandon's about to
Alright,
see
sick.
all of the buffs we can convince him to give us and be like, all right, next week the DC is actually 20 now. Get fucked.
All right,
No, it's
and
35.
my good pal, friend of the show, Kyler. Can I assume that I have a nice guidance here?
Yeah, just Kyle's like, yeah, dude, on the deep one, and just
I also have guidance.
throws you a bit a 1d4 to add to your roll.
Okay, so that's 2d4. I can't, off the top of my head, think of anything that I can really add to this. I'm gonna ask some of my pals if they can think of anything, but I don't. Is there anything else that you guys are thinking off the top of your head? Because I don't.
Would shooting lightning at your homework help?
I don't think lighting my homework on fire would have the desired effect. Maybe it would for your role, but I think I'm going to stick with this.
right.
I'm going to do the for. Hang on, I'm doing this left-handed, so bear with me here.
You got it.
For the drama, I'm going to roll the 2d4 first.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 7. All right. And then the
Ooh.
perception, which I rolled an 11, so that's 19 plus 7. I crushed. That's a 26 overall.
Yeah. So, yeah, you are successful in acclimating to your first week of schooling. So just wherever you put down, you note some extra stuff for your character. Just note that you have 1 academic point. It's going to be relevant later on, but just make sure you note down somewhere in your character sheet that you have 1.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Brandon.
You got it. All right, next on up are Dragon Rider Drazian. How did you want to go about doing your role?
So I had 2 schools of thought here. One is either I ask some of like my fellow peers that are in years above me about look, it's the first time I'm doing these electives. Could you give me a hand? But Teresian isn't the type to just jump for help straight away. He wants to try and, like, for his first week, try and work out shit himself. Because there are electives, a lot of Teresian's electives are magic based. I am going to use Arcana, which is my joint highest skill with Persuasion. It is a +8. So I am going to do that, but I'm also going to hearing Geraldine mention something about guidance. I'm just gonna like poke my head over to her desk as we're working on our like assignments for the week and working out the logistics. I'm gonna turn to Geraldine and be like, "Do you mind giving me a hand with this? The ethics side of stuff is still like confusing me a little bit."
Proud. Drazian asking for help about ethics. We love to see the character development.
So I'm going to take that 1d4 of guidance from GB and then just roll Arcana. There's no other buffs that I can really add. I'm not really a buff person. I'm a shit things until they explode person. So
can I jump in real quick? We could toss a bardic inspiration in there if you need to. I got potentially a 1d8 that you could use here.
Yeah, do you know what? I would love that.
And that's for everybody. I've got enough to go around here. whoever, because I can't add it to myself, but I can give it to others. So if you want a 1d8, all you got to do is ask.
Yeah, Ace Buddy, would you mind taking a look at this? It's that business side of things. I can't remember all the classes.
Oh yeah, see, what you got to do is you got to assume you're smarter than everybody, which you are, and then there you go.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's the pep talk I needed. So that's going to be a 1d8 and a 1d4. I will also roll those first. Please tell me hardware acceleration is like fucking not gonna fuck this up. So that's a 3 from the Bardic, and then where's the fucking d4? There we go. So that's gonna be a 3 plus a 2, so that's a 5.
Alright.
And then I'm gonna make my Arcana roll.
Sure.
I think you're set because it's a +8, right?
And that's a 25 plus
Alright.
the 8, so that is gonna be 33 total.
Shut the
Alrighty.
fuck up.
Yeah. You are
Oh, beautiful.
with the help of your team, you breeze through the first week, not a problem. All right, next up is our fish boy, Kyler. That's
Brandon,
you.
can I ask a quick question beforehand?
Yes, sir.
Is it just like the 4 base classes that we're doing this week? Or did I mishear you the previous week that we don't start the other electives just yet? Or are we starting them this week as well?
Well, you meet, but the class you meet, and you to get to know the teachers and stuff.
Right.
But the actual classes are next week, and then I'll go over. We'll do a little bit of a in-game role play for each
Okay.
of your electives as well. Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. Cheers.
For the
Good
sake
stuff.
of the rolling, they're counted in it, but you know.
Yeah, no,
We'll
that's
have it,
fine.
yeah.
I would just wanted to make sure in case there was information I'd missed about, like what,
No, you're good.
because I actually couldn't remember what my other classes were.
You're all good. I have it here, so you're all good.
So a lot of Kyler's classes are Kyler's not traditionally gifted when it comes to rote learning and flashcards. Kyler's way of getting through things was by figuring out how they work, by throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks. And so I'm going to have Kyler's engagement with anything described in the book. Kyler is going to try and perform to varying degrees of success. And so I'd like to go with an athletics check.
Okay.
And with, you know,
I accept the reasoning.
paladin-y goodness, gonna, basically put it on the deep one every time for a bit of a that's sweet guidance.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
And then are you looking for some inspiration, or?
Nah, I've got 21 total.
All right, you're good. And last but not least, Geraldine.
I'm just waiting for the double one.
Me too, dude. Me too.
Geraldine,
Okay.
okay.
So
Can-
I will take.
can I-
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to toss something out there, because normal things can typically apply to this role, right? So if you've got a dedicated study buddy, like if Ace were there helping, would that be like giving advantage, like kind of a helpish type thing?
Do
Like
I need
she
enough room
could
in the library for
she
Ace
could
as well?
feasibly double roll, right? As if I was giving like an assist.
Okay. Yeah. I would say you can do that.
We have a study buddy. Okay. I'll take. Okay. So I'm studying in a common area this week,
Yeah.
trying to acclimate with others. I will take the Bardic Inspo.
Absolutely.
I will take
I-
the advantage, and I will guidance myself. And because I'm taking I think I said that I'm in Divinity and Nature College, and
Mhm. Correct.
I think I'd be focusing more on, like, especially for like monster parts when I go like gathering for like my herbalism alchemy things,
Right.
and starting to get really into developing some new like druid based spells for her class. I'm gonna roll nature.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
It's a
Even you can't
14,
fuck
so it's
this up.
a 22, and then plus.
So
And
you're
that's
good.
that's without it. That's without advantage or any of the guidance
Easy.
or buffs or anything.
Easy.
I mean, nature does give me a +8. Anyway.
I pulled up your
Roll the
stat sheet
advantage
because
anyway to see how well it goes.
Okay, I'll roll again just to find out.
I pulled up your
Nature.
stat sheet because I was so
there it
curious.
is.
Is that
There it is. There's the fucking nat 1.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, and then
We knew we
so
were gonna
plus-
beat it, just not what order.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the D6. No, it's not a D6. It's a D8 and a D4.
Yep. Mhm.
So that would be plus 9 to the 22. So what is it? 31. Thank God. Okay, she did. We're
There
good.
you go.
Did she
You
pass?
did it. You did it.
We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe.
Amazing. All right. So
We knew the
you
nat
all-
one would be there. We knew it.
It was there. All right.
It's out of the way
So-
now.
Yeah, it's out of the way. It's out of the way. Alrighty. So yeah, all
What
of
is
you,
that? Your second nat one?
The second one of the session. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yes, you can all go and mark one academic one, however you want to keep track of it on your character sheet. Just they're not going to be immediately relevant now, but they will when it comes to finals and things like that.
Even just stick them in note sections, guys.
I was gonna say, can we all decide where it is so when I forget, I can ask you where it goes?
Stick it in. You see any add other in note section, just put it there. It's what
Add
makes most
other
sense.
in notes. Okay.
Academic.
Points. 1. Save.
1 out of 1. Good shit. Good
Nailed
shit.
it.
We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe.
So when I forget where
Amazing.
they are, we all have it in the same.
There you go. Alrighty. Now, with that out of the way, is there? Well, let me pose it this
That was
way.
really fun, by the way. I really like that.
I like that.
Having
That was
to
a fucking
convince
blast.
you if we're doing well or not.
Yeah, it's a great time. So, with that in mind, with the system kind of there now, is there anything that the 4 of you would like to do this week? Not counting weekends. Weekend, I guess, like I said, we're going to do that in game time, but from this would be like Tuesday to Friday, right? Because we started on day 2. So Tuesday to Friday, what would you like to do? I see there is a hand raised.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
yeah,
Is he?
Yeah, so I want to have meeting with a magical spell crafting professor to discuss what, obviously this will take place before these classes happen, where I want to figure out, I want to see if he'll let me do, like, the theory craft work for the groundwork for the specific spell that I want to do, because it's quite a high level. It would be a level 5 spell. And I want to pitch it to him about this being pretty ambitious, knowing this is a pretty ambitious project, but I'm willing to put in the work to get the groundwork at least for this spell done.
Okay. So you wanted to meet with the professor. That's fine. Anybody else want to do anything? Off the top of your head, if you
yes.
think of something while we're role playing, then you can pipe up
Okay.
that. But
I also wanted to do one with the spellcrafting professor, but I think if there's one I want to propose to you that she attempted this week, do you want me to DM you that?
DM me first, and we can role play. So we'll do Tracy's
Okay.
one now. Just
Okay, yeah,
DM
I'll
me
DM
while
you now.
doing this. Yeah, and then you
Can I toss this out there? Because Ace was kind of GB's study buddy, can Ace just kind of be there? Because I don't really have anything that Ace is really doing besides going to school. But can Ace just kind of be hovering around? Not really necessarily engaging, necessarily, but just be kind of around Geraldine.
That would
Is that
actually
alright?
be really dope because what I envisioned her doing was trying to experiment conjuring a new starry form to add to like sort of the rotation that she has already. So testing it with Ace or around someone else would make sense to see if it.
Yeah,
Or-
not starry enough. We need at least 30% more stars.
Shut up. Okay, great. I will DM this to you.
Okay. So, all righty. Okay. Um, yeah, not a problem. So, Dracian, at some point during the week, you wanted to go meet with Professor. This is Codwell. You want to meet, right? Your spellcrafting professor.
Yeah, the spellcrafting professor. I want to meet with him, and I want to see about meeting again with, or arranging a meeting with, Rudis or Sierra at some point as well.
Okay.
After obviously doing my reading, that I've done, and then speak to them again. And after I've done that
Mhm.
reading, obviously that'd probably be a bit later in the week by that point, but I just want that in the pipeline as well.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, so you also do something that you do know is so the two electives you have, which is spell composition and magical blacksmithing, both intro classes. Codwell does teach spell composition as well.
Oh,
That is
sweet.
his. Yeah, yeah. So you can, yeah. So you have him for two classes, because the spellcraft through the lens of the arcane, which is your general class, it's more of a like an overarching general view. He doesn't really go into super specifics for that. Whereas spell composition, where it's the more specific class, then that's where he does go into more specifics. So that which is not a problem. You can meet with him during the week. So at some point in this week, you can pick what day you do this on. You can go up to their. Did you want to like stay after class or get there ahead of class?
I know he said like that it was via appointment, so I just want to book appointment with him or
Okay,
like
that's fine.
or as early on in the week as possible.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Some people choose to stay, or be there early after class. But yeah, if you want a more of a straight up one-on-one, then yeah, appointments is the way to go. So, no problem. You can, I can, yeah, you can probably do the booking on Tuesday, go on Wednesday type thing. So, uh, they're easy enough to do. So on Wednesday, at some point during the day, you can go. You walk up to Cotto's office, which is in the same office as most of the other faculty. They're in a nice like faculty building almost. Usually, where all the offices are at. Specifically for those under the Wizardry and Sorcery College. This is kind of the admin area for that. You rock up to the door. You knock. You see the little golden plaque with Codwell listed on there, and you're invited in. You can see as you walk into the office, it is not too big. But it's fairly well decorated. Specifically, with a lot of you can see diagrams and like formulas, right? The equivalent of like whiteboards with math and formula and graphs on them type of a thing. Evidently, even when he is at the academy, still working on spellcrafting and things like that. That is his day job after all. So you can see stacks of books, lot of math on the boards. Calculating trajectories and whatever it is that is needed for spell composition. But as you walk in, he's seated behind his desk, currently looking down. He put his stuff down, but he was in the middle of. As you kind of walk up to the desk and take a seat in front of the seat meant for students. You can see he's like. Drawing like almost like a diagram of blueprint almost of some sort of component to a spell, but he kind of just sets his pen down, puts his work aside for the moment as you sit down. Looks up at you. Oh, you are the first student in this semester to ask me for an appointment, so rather interested to see where this goes. How can I help, Tracy? And what did you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about obviously the assignment for this semester, about and I feel that both the electives, the major and the elective that I have with you tie in quite well together, which I feel I'm willing to put in the work for it, but I feel that I can produce something that is of higher significance than the first level spell that you recommended, or the fact that you recommended a first level spell. How my magical capabilities work is I am a bit of a spell sword, so I have martial capabilities, but I also have magical capabilities. Where my magical capabilities are limited is when it comes to what I would call magic on the chromatic scale, so that in relation to either lightning, fire, ice, poison, or acid. Lightning is the only one of those that I can do, and when it comes to the kind of light dark spectrum, I can only do necrotic magic. Now, it's useful, and what I can do is good, don't get me wrong, but I feel in relation to where other people who use evocation magic have access to a wider variety of things, like a lot more like prominent AoE type spells, I'm a bit more limited in that. So what I wanted to do was take the concept of a fireball, but transpose it into something that I can actually cast.
All right. And did you? Were you? What tier would you be expecting this to be?
At what level a fireball can be cast at, just to start anyway, and obviously be able to, the way other spells scale up, be able to do the same kind of thing with this. I'd like to be able to work out the practicalities as well as the theory crafting groundwork, but I know that's a big ask, but I'm pretty ambitious, so I'm willing to put in the work to see if this can be something that could work. I'd rather, I know this probably isn't the best mind state for academics and trying to pass something, but I'd rather really put the effort into something that is going to challenge me than to do something that is going to be significantly easier.
Go ahead and just make a charisma check.
Just base charisma or persuasion?
Persuasion is fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my reroll.
Okay.
Because that was a 10, and that was horrific.
Not
so
a
let's try that again. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh,
Not
no.
one.
Oof.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I fucked that one.
Oh. Let's see here. Okay. He looks at you and says, "Are you confident that this is something that can be done in a reasonable time frame?" Because I've experienced other students wanting to have something that's more ambitious, and I commend people for that, and it's definitely not something to be beat down if somebody wants to challenge themselves and to explore more difficult and advanced options. In your situation, there is some points working for you here. You mentioned that you wanted to transpose something like a fireball. Is that correct? Did I
Yeah,
remember
that's
that
correct.
correctly?
So the like framework for the spell is there. It would just be using a different element. I know spellcrafting is a lot more complicated than that, but there is groundwork there already. It's not like
Right.
I'm trying to craft an entirely new spell or new concept of a spell. Like the framework exists. So I just wanted to be able to take that framework and transpose it into something that I could actually cast.
He kind of nods, and he's not like entirely against the idea. You can tell by his body language. He's coming at it more of I've had a lot of students bit off more than they can chew and have biffed it. Sort of that's kind of where he's coming from. And as you kind of explain that, he's thinking, and he eventually, after like a minute of him, kind of pondering for that, he looks back at you. All right, here's what we can do. I'm not 100% convinced to sign off on it just yet, but if you can get me the framework, your game plan, essentially, on this spellcrafting idea that you want to go through, we'll say by the end of the 4th week. All right. If you show that this is, you've put in the work and the idea is there and you have the capability for it, then I'd be willing to sign off on it at that time. Now, keep in mind, again, the ambition is to be commended, but this is something that you are going to have to do extra work for. And I cannot, at this point in time, guarantee if I will allow that as a substitution for our normal assignment that I've been given to everybody. I am, based on what you have said to me, I'm more than willing to consider it once the work has been put in. And if by that time your groundwork is there and it looks to be feasible, then yes, it can replace the assignment that I've given the rest of your class, as well as something to work on in the next semesters going forward as well.
Okay. Appreciate that. I also do have a plan B if you decide by the end of the 4th week that this is not achievable or you're not willing to sign off on it. It's the same concept, but it would just be on a lesser scale than a fireball. It would be a scorching ray, but under the same concept of being able to transpose the groundwork for that into lightning magic. I'm very combat oriented. I don't know if you've read my file, but I tend to, in our group, I'm kind of one of the two more combat, one of the two more damage oriented people, and there are areas I feel I'm limited in when it comes to single target or hitting things in a straight line. I'm great. When it comes to multiple targets that are kind of spread out, I'm not so good. So this is me trying to find a way to be better so I can help out my team.
Of course.
So if the transposed fireball is a no, I would like, after the 4th week, if that's a no, I would like you to consider a transposed scorching ray instead.
Of course, not a problem.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. I will get to work on the groundwork for this over the next number of weeks. Is it okay if I consult you on a weekly basis, just so you know how I'm getting on and stuff,
Sure.
and just maybe spitball some ideas with you at some point, if that's okay?
He does.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you considering it. I know it's not the norm, but I believe I can do it. I have confidence in myself that I can make this work. So I appreciate you hearing me out and being willing to give me a shot.
Not a problem. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Not a problem. Thanks, sir. I'll catch you later.
I'll see you in class. Okay. Yeah. Basically, he's like, if you can give me a proof of concept to see that you're not just saying shit to just say shit, but by week 4, then okay, it's the boil down of that. It's proof of concept needed.
Sweet.
Alrighty. And then Geraldine also had to. I saw that you DM'd me.
I did.
Okay. Okay. So did you want me to meet with Professor Caldwell about this specifically, or are you trying to research this? What do you want to do?
My hope was that I could bring that as a sort of work in progress that I had worked on with Ace during the week. And whether it's like web specifically or not, so I want it to be a little bit more star aligned. I just haven't quite worked out how I want that to be yet, other than it being the constellation. But I'm hoping to bring like a, work in progress to him and get some feedback on how to improve it or how to strengthen it, or like maybe a different direction to sort of go in. But that was sort of the idea.
So first question, because so then I can probably inform you how to go about this. So spider is not a normal one you have, right?
No.
Spider would be the thing you wanted to get.
Yes. So it would be
Okay.
like a new starry shape, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana is fine, Nature is fine too. One of those two.
Can I guidance myself for this?
Sure. This is literally just like, do you know how to go about doing this type of a thing? Like, what's your baseline
Oh,
of
okay.
where you
So
starting at? Yeah.
+4 and so 22. So 26.
Okay. For this type of stuff, there is Codwell can help because he's knowledgeable in just spellcraft in general. He won't be able to help you all the way. The
Okay.
reason for that is because this isn't like a tiered spell. It's not like a love,
Yeah.
that sort of spell. He can, because his it's like the same thing where a scientist for one field may still be able to help on a project with a different field because of shared expertise, and shared kind of common ground knowledge, which is probably more than what you have already. So would be good to talk to him regardless.
Yeah, but it's
just
not like a
because-
tiered spell, like actual
Yeah,
spell.
it's not his specialty.
Okay.
Per se. Now, would you benefit from talking to him? Yes, because even his basic foundational groundwork that he knows that applies to magic in general is still more than what you have now.
Right.
Right, like
right.
he's already at a you're starting at 0 at the starting point. Even if he's only 20% down the road, that's still 20% more than what you had currently, right? So talking to Caldwell will help. What is probably going to be a better bet, and you'll have to kind of figure out how on your own how to do that, or maybe ask Caldwell. You can ask maybe faculty, whoever it is, but finding other druids and things like that like are of the same
Who
alignment
have
as
made
you.
like their own social, like
Exactly,
their equivalent of
yeah,
starry
like-
forms. Okay.
Yeah, would be probably a more direct way, because nature magic works differently than like just pure arcane magic, right? So
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense.
yeah, so that's basically it. You can still you can still talk to Professor Caldwell.
Yeah.
It's still gonna help, but he can get you started, but probably not all the way.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
With that in mind, did you still want to go talk to him this week, or did you want to figure out more of a game plan and then talk to people?
Yeah, I'll still talk to him a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so you can.
And I think I've got Ace with me, hanging out after
Yeah, Ace with you.
a class.
Sure. You
Hey,
you
yeah,
wanted
what's
to
up?
wait for after one of the classes and just stick around for a second?
Yeah, just like a quick between classes type
You got it.
meeting,
That's fine.
not
So-
necessarily like I've come to office hours or something.
Yeah, not a problem. So yeah, you hang around after one of the classes during the week. As everybody else packs up their books and notes and things and start heading out, and the two of you kind of linger by your desks. As the last student leaves the door, I presume you tell Kyler
Yeah.
and Dre, like, hey, do you want to talk to the professor real quick?
Yeah, like give me a
So-
minute.
Yeah. So they hang out in the hallway or whatever. Eventually, after several seconds, it's Ace and yourself, and plus Professor Caldwell, who you can see is kind of at this point, packing up his own textbooks and whatnot. Which at this point you can go up to talk to him.
Yeah, so I'll go up and talk to him and say,
Yeah.
Professor, I was hoping I could get a little bit of your feedback on something I've been working on.
Sure.
And I think I want her to sort of kind of like put out her hand and see that like her fingers have become sort of like the spider legs.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the rest of them like go up her wrist in some way. And somehow out of this like she's able to conjure some type of like sticky material when this is like formed, and she can conjure webs now, and I would love for them to eventually be like poisonous or something. That would be so dope. But or like have like radiant damage or something in the actual webs. But what he will see is that, or the professor will see, is that I'm starting to be able to get like a little bit of like, what's the word, like viscosity, or like just like length out of this material.
It's like a little stringy.
Yeah,
not, like quite there.
And like I can like stretch it like between my hands and show me like I've been working on this new form, and I want it to be bigger and more impressive. I just don't really know how to go about it. And like I can so like attach her phone to the end of it and like dangle her phone, like really small scale things, or like, and like you're just excitedly explaining like I can attach it to things, I can like retract them back to me, and then like she'll like just shoot it at Ace and they'll be like and it's just sort of
yeah. She got really good at hitting me, like usually in the hand, right? But a lot of times just in the face. All right.
The aim's I'm still working on the aim, and I can never save anything in combat. Like I can heal them, but I can't like I can't react to anything quick enough. I feel like, and I want to be able to react. Like I want to be able to like pull someone out of an issue, or I want to like throw something with it, and I don't have the strength to do that kind of thing. I want this to be able to move more and do more. I don't know how to go about it.
He kind of contemplate, he's thinking, and just for reference, for my own mental image. So right now, the manifestation is just like basically your fingers, and you got some glue strands, pretty much, is what you got.
Yeah, like I mean, they could probably, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. What do you think, Chris? Like if we were working on it together, I could probably put it like out like maybe across the classroom if I really focused. Or like,
so I mean, I think you using it to like hold your phone, I think that was really good. Like showing it can hold like a pound or two. I think that's pretty solid progress so far for something that it's the first week and you're just working on that, and like you're able to hit approximately a target. That's really impressive. I could say that as Ace if you want me to.
Yeah, but I think that's probably like the extent of what she would have accomplished. But yeah, like I want it to build up to being like a reaction. Is really my hope.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, he kind of ponders this for a moment before answering. Well, from what it's looking like, this is part of your druidic capabilities, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, first and foremost, I would recommend you definitely talk to some druids, and they'll know more intimately about how this can be visualized in your body and whatnot. But what I found is more ubiquitous through spellcraft, no matter what sort of discipline it's from, is one, visualization is a huge aspect. Right, knowing what you want and building towards that is more, no matter what the project is. I mean, and it sounds like you've got that down, at least for the generals of it already, which is great. I would recommend definitely, when it comes to druidic magic, what I've seen from others and my colleagues and those that I've encountered in the past, is a lot of it, unlike arcane magic, druidic nature, divine magic. All right, a lot of these can be trained like muscle, which is kind of what you're doing now, right? A lot of those can be trained for muscle. arcane magic, right, works differently. There's a base. It's like almost it's a science, right? It's like a math, where wizards, right, like myself, can't really intuitively just do things on the whim. The it doesn't work like that. Now some may, but by and large, we don't. So one thing that druidic magic is good for is especially the connection to the earth and the nature around you is visualization can help skip a lot of the steps that normal spellcraft would need. You don't need to figure out the mathematics behind how much magical energy you need to input to something for it to go how far. Like those minutia doesn't need to be considered for druid magic, which is great. Which means you can typically get things done a little faster. It's not as precise, but it's faster. Now, for this is what I can recommend. I recommend definitely talking to druidic individuals, especially those who have tried breaking out of the general mold of their specialities. That's first of all. You may want to consult libraries and other such avenues of knowledge to see if there's any historical precedent, right? Any sort of background information. I would also recommend taking a glance into different spells that are in line with what you want to do. So the web spell, for instance, right? That, although you wouldn't be casting it the same way as that does, it'd be serve as a good foundation and a good example of something adjacent to what you would be looking to. Now, for where you are now, that's pretty good already. You said it was only a week, right, since you've started practicing?
Yeah, about.
Okay. Yeah, it's really good because, like, for example, take myself for example, right? I can't practice my magic like my body would, like a muscle, and get the same effect, right? This is something unique to druidic based, and also some divine based individuals. So for this, if you want, I can review what you have on intermittent basis, if that helps. But in terms of getting concrete answers, I would recommend druidic individuals. But I can review whatever work that you do and your friends if you like a second opinion. That's something I can assist you with. But in terms of further on that point, you would probably want to talk to a druidic individual.
Sure. Thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, I will see you next class then. Thanks
course.
for all your help.
Have a good day.
Well, off to the next
Skedaddle. Yeah.
Skedaddle.
Leaves.
Ace still has webs on them.
So yeah, basically, yeah. If you want second opinion stuff, you can review your work. Make sure you're not blowing your shit up. But basically, yeah, because of druids are innate more or less, right? A lot of stuff is innate, like paladins and clerics
Not innate abilities. Not the innate abilities.
It's more of a you gotta vibe with yourself to figure that shit out type of a thing. But yeah, I'll probably talk to a druid. He says they'll probably help you.
Who are the druids on staff?
The madam is one.
I was gonna say, is the madam the only one we know?
As of currently, I think that is
that
correct.
we would have met at least.
Correct.
Brandon's just like, don't make me make up a fucking NPC name on the spot, you
No.
absolute hellion.
So I knew the madam was there.
Yeah.
But I imagine she's dealing with far more important things. Do you remember what if we gave her a circle? Did she have a focus? I don't
Not that we know.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember if it would have ever come up. Okay.
Is there anything you guys would like to do? Any role play, even amongst yourselves, that you would like to do over the week? the next few days? Anything you would like to work on? People you would like to talk to?
I do have this potion of haste to get into Kyler's hands at some point.
Up to you if you want to roleplay that or not.
Oh, Cat, check your DMs. Yeah, yes, you.
Me?
Yeah, you, not Discord DMs
Oh,
messenger.
fuck.
I know there was that thing. That
Yeah. Well, I figured we'd do that over the weekend, if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, that can be a weekend
Or we
conversation.
could do it as like a separate RP thing. I'm fine with that.
You guys
Suspicious.
No, not suspicious.
Little
Just something
bit.
we talked about. Well, no, I think part of this is that if both of us were working on spell things in
During the
the
week.
library, Ace would have
Yeah.
been up there as well. Imagine there's conversations that come out of both of us getting frustrated at spell work. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be like a weeknight kind of like study or work session in the library.
Sure. All right. Okay, so we'll say at some point during the week, probably closer to the weekend, right? Probably like a Thursday or Friday evening. The two of you are in your library working on your respective homework and projects, expressing minute frustration here and there at different things. Go ahead and jump in right here if there's anything you would like to discuss with each other.
I'm imagining I want GB to be working on a new potion as well. Not everything is going to be the fucking webs.
Yeah, because this could be our like side project stuff, so I could be reading through the Disagiri stuff at the same time.
Yeah. I imagine this is just us reading a lot of things. I just need to find the crafting book.
Yeah.
You're good.
I also wanted to check with you how individually without like a professor's instruction, how high of a rarity are you okay with me practicing? Or are you good with whatever as long as I roll for it?
You mean like stuff that you haven't tried before?
Yeah, like potion wise, like could I try
Okay.
a very rare potion if I rolled for it
Yeah, I mean,
and had the mats?
yeah, I would say so. There's probably going to be a little bit of a trial and error, and you might biff it, the first time
Yeah,
or
like-
whatever. But yeah, if you wanted to self-study and do it, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find what actual rank it is.
Because
I'm so sorry, I should have had this pulled up.
so to give you like a bit of perspective for how like the way GB is going about alchemy differs than other people, is that to put it in one sentence, you have resources that other people don't.
Yeah, I can move through higher expense resources.
Exactly, yeah, because your normal alchemical student, herbalism student, or whatever, they will progress at a much slower pace because they're constrained by their resources, right? They have to, a lot of these students and prospective alchemists, right? No matter if it's in the school or self-studying or whatever, they won't get you rare or very rare potions, for years. Could be at some times, right? Because they can only practice with what they have. Now, it definitely could be that they will just fucking crank out your normal stuff like nobody's business because they've mastered it already.
Yeah.
So they're like super used to it. They can do it pretty much perfectly every single time. Whereas, they wouldn't know how to do a rare person. But for you, right, you have what's the thing with rare and very rare and legendary potions and things of that sort of tier is twofold, right? Why is it considered rare or legendary is twofold, right? Or very rare. One is resource constraints, right? So as you move up the tiers, the materials that you need to even churn out one potion becomes more expensive, becomes harder to get, and that kind of has that own sort of paywall right behind it.
Yeah.
There's a skill aspect to consider, right? But the unique thing for UGB is that you have the resources to practice with the high level stuff, Like a lot of people, they only have the mass to buy, let's say for example, stuff for one potion, so they will meticulously practice year after year for on the lower level stuff and just ace the first one, on the first try, whatever. Because they
Gotcha.
practice for years.
Whereas I will trial the expensive ones. Okay.
Yeah, because you have the money to do that.
To do so. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So the answer is yes. You can self-study it.
Yeah.
You would just be spending the money to do so. Which I mean, as long as you are okay with that, then that's fine.
Okay. The one I wanted to try was an uncommon one, so I have mats to practice it a few times.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's repetition and all that. It's as you would any other discipline, right?
So I wanted to work on a potion of lightning resistance. Okay. Specifically, and I'm kind of envisioning that, like, if Dre and GB are up in the library, she's done one set, drinks it, and then like asks Dre to like throw some lightning at her to see if it's working, and kind of the frustration of that not going 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? And
okay,
a little bit.
I'm going to do like a. Do you know what I'll do? I'll do a lightning lure. No, I'll do a shocking grasp. I'll just like gently touch you with a shocking grasp.
Thank you. Please don't lightning bolt me or whatever. Call lightning. He's so bad.
Yeah.
What was the spell you did to Jax?
That was a lightning bolt.
Yeah, please don't do that to me.
No, I'm not like using the third level spell slot in this because that is obviously the most important thing here is what level spell slot I'm with.
Ace in the corner with his fucking gun. Well, I can. What, do you need any type of damage or?
Lightning, specifically for this one, I hope, and she'll be like, all right, and it's gonna be a like a medium-ish vial of this sort of gold and blue, kind of like specifically says potions of resistance have swirls in them, so it's swirly, and she'll be like, all right, and she'll put her hand out.
Okay, I spark some lightning between my fingers and just like very trepidatiously and gently reach out and like touch you with the shocking grasp.
Okay. Do we like do a contested roll of whether this potion worked or not?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, I'm like literally having to cast shocking grasp here, so.
No, this is. Yeah. Okay, go for it. What do you get?
What do I roll for?
Just roll your ability check for potion.
So that's a 25 hit.
So it's just a d20 of whether the potion worked or not.
Well, plus your ability.
My ability modifier, so plus.
Yeah,
so
whatever you're
13.
rolling to craft potions. Yeah.
Oh, what I rolled to craft the potion.
Yes.
Okay. Is still a d20 plus my.
Are you like wanting this to work or to fail right now?
I'm wanting this to fail.
You could probably just say it failed.
Yeah, but it's funnier when it actually I wanted to know if I would crit fail, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
like,
so,
I'm wondering, like, do you want inspiration or whatever, or we just...
No, like, I wanted to know if I am about to take, like, 4d8 or, like, 1d8.
No, it's 9 points of lightning damage.
Okay, which...
But if the potion accidentally amplified it... Wouldn't that be something?
That hurt. I don't think it worked. And I think you're gonna see a little bit of singe across her arm, a little bit of, electricity burns and whatnot. And
I give her one of my potions of healing out of my bag. I'm like, sorry.
It's my own fault. I'm frustrating. I didn't think this was gonna be this hard. It's just a potion of. What are you reading about? It has to be more interesting than what I'm doing.
It's weird getting to sit down to actually read about like how all the Discovery stuff actually works. I didn't know there was like literally an infinite combination of how um of like what kind of dragons like are compatible with this. I always thought it was just a case of they were either metallic or chromatic, but there's other dragons which have the same kind of properties, which I've never come across gem dragons or crystal dragons before. And the crystal dragons are like integral for there's this rite of passage with Skyri where you're supposed to craft your own sword, which I knew about, but I didn't know how that was actually done. It's done with the help of the crystal dragons, because the blade that you make it's almost made out of this like alloy of like avum steel and crystal, which makes sense because avum steel on its own can only conduct so much. It can only be enchanted with magic so far, but the crystal that the crystal dragons breathe essentially makes it a lot more conductible for enchantments, and I never knew that. Like I spent past like 5 years in the diarchy just fighting and not being able to learn any of this stuff. I feel like I'm a billion steps behind on what I should be doing.
As Dre is talking, GB is going to sort of wandered the room and made a couple drinks and eventually wandered back towards her like workstation, you know, waiting for the potion of healing to sort of take off whatever shocking grasp burns she has.
Yeah.
And sort of place a drink down next to him and go, that sounds really confusing.
Yeah.
I've never really been around, I mean, other than Azuria, can't really say I'm around any dragons. So it's cool, but it sounds like you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I feel that the diarchy, by the time they're, I don't want to say it was wasted, because I love Azure Company, and I love my battle siblings that I made there, my crew. But I feel like I've spent, and I know I said this the other day, just Skyrim, we're not soldiers. We're not supposed to be soldiers. We're supposed to be protectors. And like when we fled Avum, when Mom and Dren and me and Azuri obviously fled Avum, we landed at the Diarchy, and we were, the prophecies of the sun said, yeah, we will hide your identities and hide who you are, but you have to fight for us. So I was essentially conscripted into being a soldier, and Bryson Beerhart sponsored me getting into True Arms, great, but I also spent the past 5 years fighting a war that's realistically was not my war to fight. And yeah, I helped some people, but I have been in this constant state of being this animal backed into a corner and just having this consistent fight or flight response. And that's, now that I am coming out of that and I'm not feeling like I'm hiding from theocracy members in the city anymore, and can actually take time to adjust and not feel like I'm running or getting ready for a fight. I don't know, I think being forced into being conscripted affected how I behave a lot, and that's kind of rough.
Not to add to that, but that would make a little more sense with how you've been. It's not an excuse. I'm not giving you an excuse.
I'm not giving me one either.
But it makes a little more sense. So I'm glad you're moving past, through, around all of that. There's a lot you have to figure out, I guess, and maybe learning how to, get along with others in a way that actually trusts them to be there for you.
It wasn't really. I didn't really have the luxury of that in the diarchy. It was a case of, like, when you're in the midst of a war, you don't have really time to ask someone to do something nicely. It's, this needs done now. If you do this again, you're going to get us killed. That we can't let these people that we're fighting get away for them to bring a larger force to eradicate us. And I think that's probably informed quite a few of my choices, and I don't think all of them were wrong. Like, I feel my instincts in Hell's Prairie helped Nestor. And
I mean, if we really want to get into all of that, I think, yeah, maybe.
like,
But you did not want to be with us. You were cruel to me.
I know. I'm sorry for that. I more meant in relation to the conversation with the sheriff and the people that were running away from the quarry. Like, I wasn't attacking them out of, like, maliciousness or badness. When we woke up that morning, we saw Nestor beaten to within an inch of his life by that same group of people. We attack their quarry. What was to stop them from taking it out on him? So I made the instinctual move to attack these people. And Kyler may not have agreed with my methods, but me making the call to make the deal with the sheriff got Nestor his life back. And yeah, there are some things that I have not gone about the right way, but equally it's one of those things that, like, bad situations can, yeah, they're shit and they should never happen, but by the same token, like, the bad situations aren't always fully bad. There's some of my learned instincts did come in useful there, but I feel I'm starting to outgrow some of those because I'm not the caged animal anymore. I'm not the animal in the corner just trying to survive, because I don't feel I'm under a microscope or in danger of the theocracy finding me. Like, their embassy is gone. There are definitely no more theocracy members left here, because I fucking checked and made sure over the past couple of weeks. They're gone, so I can be me, I guess, and that's, it's different and it's new, and I know I should feel shit about the whole Worldsquall thing and everything happening, and I feel guilty for feeling free, but at the same time, I get to be me and start to try and reclaim some of the years that have been taken from me. And that's kind of nice.
I'm sort of picturing that it's pretty late at night at this point as they've been talking, and as like the conversation sort of like winds down and like Joyce shared a bunch of this, I want GB to take her spellcasting focus like out of like the top of her staff, and it's an orb. Like, do you guys remember those like little orb things that you plugged in that projects the constellations around the room?
Yeah.
That's essentially like what her thing is, and so it's sort of just been in the staff as she's used it. But I want her to take it out, and as they're talking, she sort of has it in her palm, and lights it up so it does project around the library. And as he's sort of talking that like he actually gets some of these years back, I think one of the most interesting parts of being a druid is that I'm never have to feel alone, despite how alone I might actually be. And she's gonna like illuminate the constellations. One of the first things my brother, who's nothing like Jax, ever taught me was that even when everything's really dark, the stars prove that no matter what, there's a little bit of light. I'm just gonna sort of look around the room at all the stars, and I'd like to think that I could be that little bit of light if you needed it.
I think you have already been these past number of months.
Just, it's different now. Geraldine Truearm? Just different. And she's gonna leave it filled with light and sort of like place it back on its little spot on the table. And I kind of feel like there's a comfortable silence that sort of settles with the room only being lit up by these constellations. And they sort of go back to their reading.
Ace speaks up from the corner and goes,
Hey, who the fuck's Nestor?
I forgot you were there.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning to like intrude. That was really sweet. The lights are really. Who's the sheriff? Were you guys part of a singing and dancing crew or something? Is this like an old town musical? What was going on, gang?
No, so is one of the first like assignment that the previous headmaster in this school sent us on, instead of letting us go to class like normal students, was we had to go and retrieve this artifact from this kind of sundown town type vibe called Hell's Prairie. That was essentially run by this mob-like guy called the sheriff. And the inn that we were staying in was run by this guy called Nestor, whose family had to leave because the sheriff's mob people kept threatening him with, for protection money and harassing him. And I made a deal with the sheriff that if he gave us the map to where we needed to go to find the artifact, and this was the important part of the agreement, that he left Nestor alone, let him have his life back, and didn't bother him again, that I would owe him a favor. Me personally, I didn't want any of the rest of the group to have to do anything, but I would help him out with something that he was having trouble with in the future, as long as it did not constitute harming any innocent people. And he agreed. He's not called in that favor yet, so I may have to go and steal something or something at some point, I guess, or embezzle shit or whatever these weird mob people do. But it was a call I made, and Geraldine was the deciding vote that said, yeah, let's let's go for it. And I was happy to take the responsibility of whatever would come next, because when we woke up that morning after staying in the inn that night, the sheriff's man had beaten Nestor to within an inch of his life, and because he protected us, and I wanted to make sure he was safe, so I made the call.
So much more of the situation than I remember. I forgot that we made the decision together as a group around a table where everything was explained, and I decided to side with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't like keep you up at night or anything?
Crazy how that turned out, huh?
Above the table.
Above the table. Right.
Hat decided because she had no fucking clue what was going on. I didn't know what the choices were and just picked. And the second we...
You didn't even just say that you just picked up the map that the sheriff had left.
No idea what was happening. And the second we cut to break, I go, so what just happened?
You really, I'm just a girl, that shit.
I'm just a girl.
So good.
Hilarious.
Well, okay, yeah, it sounds like you made the right decision. Do you ever... My only concern on that would be whatever the sheriff's definition of an innocent person is, I would worry about that, personally. I don't trust a corrupt man's interpretation of innocent by any means. But I think you did what you had to do, probably.
When he asks... When and if he asks me to... I don't even know if he's still alive after the fucking Worldsquall, to be honest. We can live in hope. But I don't know what he's planning to ask me, but if whatever it is, I'll look into it properly, and do a bit of research into if he's trying to get me to put a hit on someone or fucking whatever. I'll take a look into it and make sure that no innocent person is going to get caught in the crossfire, and if he has a problem with that, and I just spark up a bit of lightning magic, like, then we can have a conversation.
Sick. So you talk about the Izarian theocracy a lot. Definitely, I can see you got beef with them. Do they have any, like, calling cards? They keep, like, a little coin in their pocket that says, I'm a bitch. Like, anything like that? Like, if I saw them in a crowd and wanted to, like, not associate with those guys, or, you know, beat the fuck out of them, like, how would I tell?
Well, I don't know if they've changed their color scheme now since this shit happened, but they used to wear these, like, green and black cloaks. But I don't know, they might have switched things up with the Worldsquall and everything, who the fuck knows. But yeah, they used to keep these medallions on them, but at least the kind of big, well, they all kept medallions on them, but if you had a certain rank, you would have specific ones that kind of signified you as being above the rest or whatever. But yeah, they keep these medallions with the symbol of their god, Iazar, on them.
Ace looks down at the badge from the academy and goes, huh, weird, who would do that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Rank badges, that's crazy.
Yeah, some kind of cultish, like, Masonic Brotherhood type bullshit. But yeah, that's the kind of thing.
Gross. Glad you killed them all.
They have an entire empire that is still...
Oh.
A couple. Yeah.
Oh,
Ace, where did you say you were from?
Me?
Yeah.
North. Just, like, really, like,
Just-
really far north. Like, yeah, like, you would...
Interesting.
Like, I'm talking, like, so north, man. It's
Ace, why
It's
do you
almost
think that I
different.
killed some of the theocracy?
What?
You said you're glad I killed them. What makes you think I killed people from the theocracy?
Didn't you just say that you just murked a whole bunch of them, and there aren't any around here anymore?
That's
Oh, well, the Worldsquall, but that wasn't Dre's fault, believe it or not.
Oh, I thought the implication was that you killed them all around here. That you talk about them like you hate them a bunch.
Look, I'm gonna be forthcoming here. After the Worldsquall happened, not all of, and like the embassy got nuked, there were a couple of them still skulking around, and
and you're telling me you didn't kill those guys, Dre?
No, I did kill them. I did
Okay,
kill them.
alright.
They just
so it's totally
under
right.
mysterious circumstances, Ace. Mysterious.
Okay, look,
Dracian-like circumstances.
okay, you see this sword, and I take out my Avon Lightning Steel longsword. I'm like,
Yeah, it's a fucking sick, dope ass sword.
I've never used this up until recently, because this pre-Worldsquall with this entire group, I would either just use my spells, or I used another sword that I kind of borrowed from someone and never like gave back. But I started using this one recently because I made a promise that I wouldn't use this in battle until the first person that died at the hands of this blade was a member of the Iazarian theocracy. So I'm using the sword now.
Honestly, I always wondered why you carried around a big sword and never touched it. I'll be
Oh, I
honest,
would have
it was
roasted
curious.
your ass if I saw that. I'm glad you're using it.
Yeah, but yeah, I made sure that there were no more theocracy members left here.
That's what I'm talking about.
No,
All right.
Most of them were wrecked by the Worldsquall, being perfectly honest. But I did clean up the trash, as it were.
Hey, sounds great to me. Does anybody want any blueberry muffins?
I would love a blueberry muffin.
Absolutely, I do. We have a
Ace
bar
offers
up
around.
here if you want to help yourself too.
I have been sitting here. I see the bar. Thank you, though.
Great. I was just saying.
So yeah, now we're caught up on the Jurassian lore. Anyone else have any deep and dark secrets that they want to share?
No, mine's pretty out in the fucking open.
Yeah, yeah, we did like kind of live through that shortly before the Worldsquall, so.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't have time to get
anyways.
into all of that. I'm gonna
So,
figure out
Brandon,
Go
Okay.
have I heard anything back from my conversation with Dale about robbing potentially high-value targets that come into the area? Potentially
Yes.
members
yes.
of trying to, surviving as
or in relation to, they do have, proxies and patsies that they use. Normal criminals that just don't care who their boss is from. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do you check, check in every day or so? Like, is that kind of?
Did
Go.
Dale say that? I thought
No,
Dale said he
don't-
was going to send like a messenger or something.
Yeah, but you haven't had anybody come up to you yet, which is why I was like, are you checking or just gonna wait for somebody to rock up?
I trust Dale implicitly.
Okay, you got it. All right. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Kyler, Mr. Crestwave, is there anything you would like to do this week?
I'd like to talk to GB at some point. I think they've got a lot unsaid. A lot they're still figuring out. I'd also like to work on my own spell for that class. I think gotta keep it simple and straightforward. Kyler is a simple and straightforward guy. It's gonna have to be a smite spell of some descript.
What?
More smite.
More smite.
Give more smits.
More smitten. Just
Oh my
Um,
god.
I get smoked.
I'm sorry. I just one of my creative spells I just realized would be so broken if used in combination with Kyler's smites. It's
Hell yeah.
Damn. Get after it.
So I think for Kyler's
Like up until
Smite.
Friday, pretty much.
yeah, smite spell, I would quite like to do so the default paladin smite is radiant damage. I would love to try and reverse the polarity on that and do a necrotic smite of some kind.
That could be a work in
Oh my
progress.
God.
This semester.
Hmm.
That could be a work in progress.
Yeah. What did Eli say?
I said gang gang.
Gang
Necrotic
gang. Gang. Because Kyler already has access to a little bit of necrotic magic. It's very resonant with the eldritch horrors. So it's maybe just a bit of like kind of trying to figure out how to, inhale on an exhale kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Beyond that, yeah, just Kyler's about. Kyler's vibing. Kyler's struggling, I think, a lot with the Worldsquall. Still. But I think they'd like to see GB when she seems not engrossed in things.
You waiting for the weekend to do that, or over the weekend?
Whenever works. Whenever there's a free moment, I think.
GB?
Whenever. I imagine if it's during the week, she'll be in the library, or I don't know. When we have this this gym combat rec room, right?
Yep.
If she's trying to, maybe at some point she goes down into the rec room to try to work on this webbed kind of attack accuracy. Trying to, I don't know. Do we have? Yeah, a little bit. And
Go,
it's
Web, go.
as hell because she's not coordinated at this. She doesn't do anything like that.
Plant pots
And,
are her
because-
targets.
Yeah, and she's got to hit a house plant. She's working on it, and whether Kyler's in there or walking by while she's doing this, that's up to them.
Yeah,
But
go on.
I imagine that would happen at some point.
Kyler could be up there, in a tank top, just
Boy.
bloody little tank top.
the slutty 80s tank top that actually is just
This slutty little blue waist.
a
God.
little bit.
Oh whoa.
Tank top and
Hello.
jeans, looking like a
Not the
character
jorts.
in a 50s musical.
Not the jorts. The real short jorts.
No, just full blue jeans and kind of vibes.
Okay.
Um,
Well, if you're walking in on GB trying to be Spider-Woman. So I'm at this point she's working to dispel the webs as well because it is inherently magic based.
Yeah.
It probably looks more like celestial style threads than an actual viscous
Gooey-
glue at this
gooey
point.
web, yeah.
It's probably more I don't know, the threads the Fates have in Hercules, it's probably more a la that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's something closer to that than an actual web itself.
Excellent use of Allah as well. I fucking.
But at this point, since she's still focused on all of it, the room is probably covered in a decent amount of this netting material, this radiant netting that she's working on. But it is very
Tyler
obvious.
has slowed movement speed in the room.
Kyler's
But one of I'm imagining it's like a training dummy has the giant circle in the middle of the chest that has not been hit. but tons of things around it. And she's just sitting there on the floor defeated, trying to pull as much webbing out of her hands as possible, see how long she can make it. And flops back in a starfish, fucking defeated.
Are you good, GB?
Oh, Yeah. Yeah. Just working on something. It's going. Sort of.
Do you, this is, can I touch it?
Yeah, it won't hurt you.
That was like an OC, like, can I, was it gonna do anything
Yeah.
if it, like, Kyler's gonna
No.
reach out and touch it, like...
At this point, it doesn't do anything.
Oh!
I don't think so. I mean,
Cool. Are you, like,
yeah.
trying to make a magic carpet or something?
No. Is that what it looks like?
There's, like, threads and shit. I just, like, oh. Magic carpet?
No, and she's gonna sort of like pull out like the ones she has like still attached to her. She's like, I'm working on this thing for class, and you know how you can usually like you see like the archer like going like down my shoulders and stuff, or like but this one's new and wanted I don't know. You can stop cross bolts and sword slashes, and you can make people hurt less in the moment, in the second it happens. You can react that fast, and I have nothing. I just have to try to heal it, and it's frustrating. So I've been trying to, I don't know, like she's gonna do the same, like holding up her like pixie or something, and with like the weapons, like I'm trying to make it so I could, I don't know, be able to fling something with it, or hold up something, or pull someone out of something, and like really quick. And it's not. Just gonna sort of gesture at the training dummy and go, it's kind of varying levels of.
Do you want me to, give you some advice? I mean, if you think I can do all this amazing, wonderful stuff.
I mean, yeah, do you have any suggestion?
Yeah, come on. And Kyler's gonna offer her a hand and hoist her up to her feet. If she's...
Okay. Yeah, she'll...
Yeah, she's not... This isn't a contested check. Yeah. Just...
No,
Yeah, and it's gonna go, like, the key to doing things is not speed. It's not a judder. It's not... You've got to be like water. Just
okay.
Smooth. Always flowing. Just focus on putting the parts together and then speeding up, going through it all as one motion. Don't think go. Think go. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tension only at the point of impact.
Okay. I think Geraldine's gonna sort of like lift her hand up. Like, I don't know where on earth it's coming out of her hand yet. I don't want it to be like a Spidey kind of thing, but like, yeah, I don't quite want that. Yeah, like maybe because like if it's sort of on her leg, like this is the body of the spider and the legs are going out of her fingers. Like I'd imagine it's probably out of like a finger would make sense. And she'll try and be like, okay.
Don't think about doing it quickly. Think about doing it smoothly.
Okay. And she'll lift up her arm and point at, the bullseye, like the target on this training dummy or whatnot. I don't know. How far away would you say we are from this training dummy?
It's not that big a room. It's got to be like 15 feet or
The
something.
room's huge.
15. Okay, she can do 15 feet if she hits. Okay, so like she'll be like, okay, smooth, and try to do it like on command. I have no preconceived notions of what happens here. You can tell me what happens, Brendan.
I was like, okay.
I'll roll something if you want me to.
Yeah, you want to roll an attack roll real quick?
What kind of attack roll?
Just do a spell attack.
If you go to
Like
spells, it'll be whatever your to hit is.
light to hit. Oh, +9 spell attack. Okay. Okay, so that's a Okay, it's a 21.
Okay. And you're trying to web the center target, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to just like attach this single string to the dummy. See if this webbing netting goes.
Okay. Yeah, you go. You like just extend your like, and yeah, a very thin like gossamer almost like string goes and just sticks to the forehead of the target.
The
There you
forehead. Okay.
Yeah, the training dummy or whatever.
Yeah. So does that hit the target itself, or is it like on the target but like a different spot?
It's so I imagine it's almost like it's a a dummy with the head and the target's in the
Oh, like the
chest.
multiple one. Okay. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
and it does
Okay.
the head one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but that's. Thank you. That I've been accuracy, not using a staff or anything or like a wand or something. That's not super easy. I don't really know what I'm doing.
It's kind of hard for me to. So my brother, he always complains because I'm really bad at explaining things, because like I don't think about it. I just kind of do it, and Kylo's gonna go and
believe
like line up to the training dummy, and just like do like a quick like jab, and try and do like a surging smite through it, and just like a like a like a bit of a shimmering explosion. It's like, but it's like I feel things move through you at all times. You're not drawing it from this other other place or time or part of your body. It's just always there at a moment's notice. Do you get me?
No.
Cool. Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, but like the thing is that it's not just always there for you. Like I have to like conjure this up. Like I have to put it there. It's not just there. Like I have to put it there. Like I don't know.
I mean, yeah. No, like I get that, but like it's just because you have to doesn't mean you can't think of it that way, though, right? Like when I go to hit, I don't hit with my hands. It hits by itself.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, like I don't. Never, no. You never get tense. You don't. You remain ready, and like it's always effortless. You just do it. And you think about keeping things smooth, and you don't think about rushing things or getting super duper anxious. And like, dude, you're onto a winner.
The GB's just sort of staring up at Kyler, saying like, "Yeah, hitting is just super easy, super effort. Like I don't even have to think about it." Meanwhile, like flashes of every single time GB has nat 1'd an attack roll, and it's into the double digits. For sure. It's probably somewhere in the 20s in actual game time. Mm-hmm. And so she's just like and like you don't have to be anxious, and she's just like feeling very vulnerable about this right now, of someone who's never struggled with this trying to tell her that it's easy, and just going I'm glad it's easy for you and that it works for you that way, because it's helpful, and you do really, really good a lot of the time. It doesn't always, usually, ever, sometimes really work like that for me.
Why?
I miss. I get nervous. I want to do really well, or like someone's really hurt, and I try to help. I just want to help, and like I can see that like they need my help. Like you can heal a little bit, but like Drazian certainly can't. Like Kronk couldn't. Like it's like you can get yourself like topped off, like healed a little bit when you really need it, but like then we really sacrifice you know, helping everything. So like it's on me, and when it's on me, and there's a lot of pressure, and I get really nervous, and I try to do everything, and then I end up freezing a houseplant.
I'm not nervous about you. I know that you're gonna do what we need. I've never, ever, ever questioned any of you. I know that when I'm in trouble, you'll get me out of it. That's how I'm able to fight so gloriously and to be like a proper, you know, badass.
Sorry, you really just hit me with a glory mention.
What's the lady?
I mean, and that's great, and I'm thankful that you think so highly of me, but I've had to watch you guys get really hurt, and I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't stop it. I couldn't help. I just had to watch it happen.
It's kind of an occupational hazard, though, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, but
of course we're gonna get hurt.
But I want to be better at it. I want to be able to stop it the way you do, and I don't know. It'd be nice to be as good as you, you know.
Well, if you think I'm good, I think you're brilliant. So
Logistically, that's not how that works, but that's a very sweet sentiment.
yeah, I don't really think about transitive properties or fucking, you know, things like that. I just think that if I'm in trouble, you're always there, and when you're in trouble, I'll rescue you, and then when I'm in trouble, you'll rescue me, and that means I can be a absolute nutcase and jump on top of like tentacles and fucking smite fire elementals and shit. Like,
You have done a couple crazy things, and I've done my best. Oh, that reminds me. And she's gonna sort of, you know, go rustle in the bag that I'm sure she has like on like the side of the room where she was working. So I've been working a lot on some potions and stuff in the alchemy club and whatnot, and it came in handy not too long ago. So I've been working on making you another one. And she's gonna hold out the potion of haste. Be like,
thank you. That's incredible. The potion of speed really did help. I've been trying to replicate that feeling in my body, but it puts it under strain. So
yeah, I've been.
You're the best. Like, I couldn't
on-
do this. I couldn't make a potion. I can barely fucking make dinner. Like,
I can't guarantee I can make them every time, but I can. It does work. But I'm just like kind of like nervously fidgeting and being like, I thought.
can I just like reach out and like
you know,
like take her chin and just be like,
no.
Yeah.
It was
just a little that. GB.
Thank you for. Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I think just GB, can I do a perception check here of
What?
does Geraldine want to be kissed?
You just,
Bruh.
babe.
Bruh.
You just did the shit, bruh.
Kyla's
Inside check.
Helen Keller could make this inside check.
is an insight check or a fucking the plus 0, so like this could go.
It's an insight.
Chris.
What is the easiest punch of all time?
Does GB want Kyler to kiss her?
17.
Bruh.
17.
I
GB?
don't need to fucking roll. Yes,
Good.
GB absolutely would. Absolutely.
It'd be smooching time.
And GB absolutely would be open to that.
In that case,
Christ.
Kyler's gonna read the situation, hopefully accurately.
Successfully.
Yeah, and just lean in and like give her a slight shut up kiss, but also I want to kiss you.
Not the shut up.
Like she's like stammering, and he's like,
Nah.
And this is when Dre walks in and says morning.
Good morning.
and it is
It's not.
I mean, it's not like a full on like make out,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty long held kiss.
I don't have words for GB right now. She'd be doing exactly this, just sort of, you know.
And I assume this is like later at night.
Yeah, this
Like,
would have to
post-dinner,
be
right?
like late night, yeah.
Yeah.
We should like go on a date this weekend or something.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, like I mean, you don't have to. It's
Yeah, no, yeah, yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah. Let's do it. What do you guys do for dates on the surface?
I mean, it depends. These like parties or dinner or movies. Or...
Have you never been on a date, Geraldine?
I have. It just kind of depends.
Insight check. I want to insight check if Geraldine's been on a date or not.
No, Geraldine's absolutely been on dates.
Okay, can I insight check it
Geraldine's
anyway
absolutely-
and see if...
Let's see what the dice say. What is it contested insight?
No, like, if you've told me what the truth is, I got a 14, so like...
Oh, okay. Whether
So
you
I-
know it or not. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I would say Kyler, believable.
Okay, maybe one or two. That's Kyler's...
God damn.
Kyler doesn't say this, he just
Bruh!
thinks it. Kyler just thinks this. Kyler's like, yeah, no, cool. You know, like, we used to do stuff like, slipstream boarding and, cowfish tipping, things like that.
Fish thing.
Movies, that was a good one, too. Do you guys have movies here?
No pun for that one.
Yeah, of course we have movies.
Yeah, and where's the cinema here?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna. Geraldine
Permit.
krills herself right in front
Oh.
of Kyler.
Change it.
Full on krill. I don't the scene right. I think there's one in town, like just down the street from school.
Okay.
I don't know what's playing or anything like that, but we could go if you want it.
I like that. A movie date? Yeah. Cool. Can I kiss you again?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Kyler's gonna give her another kiss. Cat's falling apart.
I'm great. I'm stellar.
You're blushing.
Young love.
You can't tell. My light's purple. You can't tell
You
if
are
I'm blushing or not.
you're blushing.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, homie.
Dre says this from
Hold
the
on.
doorway,
Hold
leaning
on.
against the door frame, going, young love.
Okay, that's a white. Oh fuck. Okay, I am blushing. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, they changed that bad boy back, huh?
Put it back. Put it back.
Well, at least we can resolve now that it wasn't just as friends.
I'm gonna cast the fog cloud
It's
spell to
not-
heavily obscure the
Listen.
area so that I can kiss Geraldine again.
It's not just as friends. Right?
Just gonna cast the fog cloud spell and kiss Geraldine again, free from prying eyes.
Uh-huh.
The room becomes heavily obscured. Kyler's gonna go, it's not just as friends, and leave this room heavily obscured for the next hour. It's a concentration of an hour. I'm going to hold concentration for an hour and go do something else, and just leave everyone
Got that
wondering
dog in him.
where the fuck.
I like as soon as I see the fog cloud, I'm just like I nod and then I turn and walk away.
Turn you.
My months of wingmanning here is done.
Your job has been completed.
Yeah.
You get.
And
get
it's that
nothing out
moment
of it.
when you see the fruits of your labor and you're like, do you know what? I can leave this as is. Just walks off.
Alright. Cool.
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 Okay. Before we get into the weekend, let's see. Well, before we get there, anybody doing any role-related stuff, crafting, whatever it is that I know you are for DB. But,
Yeah.
Anybody else doing any crafting, any things that need checks?
I am doing a couple of things, so I want to start doing the groundwork for the spell, but I also want to continue to read the Disagiri stuff, so I can make a Disagiri lore check if you need me to, because I have a special
you do
skill
that.
for that.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
I had a question.
Yes.
Under the
I may have an
alchemy
answer for you.
and herbalism stuff, it lists magical inks as something I can make. What can I do with those?
I think those are used in spell scroll crafting, if I'm correct. If you look in the document, there's stuff that says, "Hey, you need magical ink for it."
Okay, but I don't have those professions essentially. So I could craft the ink, but I don't craft what I craft the ink with.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's spell scrolls, which in
It's a control find.
which you can. Yeah, I think it's spell scrolls. If I'm.
Yeah.
Looking real quick.
Yeah, I want to see like what it's used.
Yeah,
in.
arcane words of scrolls. Yeah.
Okay, so it's what profession does that go under? Scroll scribing?
Yeah, scribing.
Scroll scribing is not something I do. And I don't think I particularly have interest in it, but like herbalism gather. Oh, I need to roll for gathering. I made a note that I didn't roll for gathering last time.
Okay. Yeah.
How many times a week can I
do that.
go gathering?
We'll say 3 on average. When
3,
we're not
okay.
At school or doing homeworks and stuff.
Okay. Okay, I just lost my place on this page. Fuck. I just had it up. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Okay, gathering charts.
Yeah, you're in a forest area, or forest or grasslands. Either you can roll from either of those tables. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the area around Aglane, I would consider either or.
Okay. In that case, I would. I roll 3 D100s.
No, so what you do, if you see there, the gather has the DCs, right?
Yeah.
So you either, if you see there's 3 for alchemy specifically, where it's 10, 12, and 14.
Yeah.
You see that there?
Yeah.
So roll to see which of the 3 tables you're gonna roll for, and then you do the D100.
So I roll a D10 to roll which table?
No,
or I roll a D20 for the table. Okay.
Yeah, for the DC to see which of the 3 you're gonna be.
Got it. Okay.
Rolling off of, yeah.
That's a 19. Okay, so
sorry, no, I misunderstood myself. Just roll 3 D100s. Sorry, I misunderstood myself.
Okay.
Just roll 3 D100. Do 3
Can I
3
keep that
D100s.
19 for something?
19 can, well, you still need to beat a minimum DC to harvest, so yes. That can.
Okay, so that's
Yeah. So you're successful in your harvesting. So just now roll 3d100s. I misread the DC portion of it. So
no, it's
just,
okay. Okay, so then I got a 62. Oh, this rolled 3 times anyway. Then oh, it's not separating for me. Yeah, a 62. I can't. Can you see the 3 individual rolls in that 3d100 one? It's not separating for me.
I can look right now real quick. Hold on. Oh, 1 moment.
It just gives me like the total of the 3. I should have rolled
The
them
total.
separately.
Okay, yeah, let me look. You're good. Give me a look. It's something. You said it was 62, and then it was 10 and 97. Oh, so 10, 97, 74. Because you rolled
Okay.
3d100 again.
Yeah, so I'll just take that chunk of 3. That's fine.
Okay, so 10,
you said 10.
97, 74.
Okay.
So,
So
10,
10.
no, I mean pick forest or grasslands. Either one is fine.
I'll take forest.
Okay, so 10, 97, 74.
So I can get. So for on the 10, I get nothing.
Okay, yeah, it looks like the 10 didn't harvest it, but 97, you get the primal essence.
Common primal.
Or yeah, and then 74 is common curative
1d4.
reagents. You roll a d4.
Okay, I will roll that now. That's 2. So
Okay,
2
so there you
common
go.
reagents, 1 primal.
Essence, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And then. Sorry.
You're good.
Then. Just adding these. Uncommon curative. Now I have 12 common reagent. And then, you said this was 1 common primal?
Yeah, primal essence.
Common curative. Okay, so I'm gonna make. Oh, let someone else go while I figure out what I can make with these.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you.
What'd you get for your
I-
Dusagari thing?
So I rolled both the Dusagari thing and an Arcana check. The Dusagari roll was really fucking good. It was 20 something. Let me just double check in the game log again. The Dusagari roll was 24, and then the Arcana check was 16.
24. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I will say in terms of making, starting the framework of it, a lot of it, is you got essentially you're doing, you got to write a paper, right? Of this proof of concept. So you start getting work on it. I would say this week probably start doing research. Try getting references and whatever you need to do to the stuff that you need to essentially utilize to create the foundational stuff for the spell that you want to make, right? So you start pulling, throughout the course of the week, you start pulling books from how the fireball spell was crafted and like the history around that spell specifically. You start pulling like references for those diagrams, all that stuff. So you start getting a lot of the like more meticulous and specific details surrounding that spell specifically, since you're basing it off of that.
Gotcha.
So that's your spell kind of stuff that you're working on these couple days during this week. In terms of your Dusagari stuff, a lot of it again, is quantifying. Because it's only been only the first week, right? So a lot of this is still quantifying and putting into specific words and lessons and teachings the stuff that you kind of have been instinctually told or taught or just gathered from your own experiences. So you're kind of actually moving through the first book pretty quickly. Now, granted, the first book is the basics, right? But you're kind of doing it's a refresher course, right? You're doing the refresher of all this stuff that like you always kind of subconsciously knew, but like didn't get ever get it explained to you. Like, oh, so that's what this term means. When
Yeah,
you
or
know,
that's why this works this way.
exactly, yeah, things like that. You're just kind of getting more context instead of just, swing a sword, sword hit things. You're like, okay, why do we swing a sword this way, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you're kind of getting the history behind that. Now, what you said, you got 24 for dragon riding, right?
Yeah, I
For the
got
lore?
24 on my Disagari lore.
Okay. Now, what you do notice, and you've already got that some part of that during when you were mentioning to Geraldine about your like there's other dragons that like I never knew existed because they're not as prominent in history books, right, where like the gem dragons, right, who occupy kind of a separate field, right, and kind of all this stuff that like is more specific but like is less in the public eye. So you know your normal civilian, right, living in Aglane probably isn't going to think about gem dragons on a semi-regular basis. It's all the stuff that like you don't know unless you're like academic or like specialized in this type of stuff. So what you do start getting more of a notion of is the other types of dragons, right, that kind of exist. Now, of course, you got your chromatic and metallic dragons, right, where they're the most populous and the most prominent, because they've kind of been at the forefront of history. Just like they've been a part of so much of history. They're essentially common knowledge, right? In terms of their existence and whatnot. Right, and you got like a next step down, which is the gem dragons, where like, okay, some people know people know they exist, but it's not like, when somebody says dragons, they don't immediately jump into mind, right? A lot of them tend to keep to themselves and stay away from most things, and there's some related to the Zagarian dragon riders, right? But kind of more on the neutral front. But you also start seeing mentions and references to other dragon types that are less common, like in the sense that some dragons that are native to other dimensions that just don't come into the material plane at all, like they just don't come here, so thus has no impact. Like dragons that are native to like the Feywild, for instance, who Fey dragons and things like that, or dragons from the Shadowfell, and like things that are like noted as, hey, you should probably be aware that they're dragons that are native to these other dimensions, but 99 times out of 100 probably won't encounter them unless you go looking for them.
Yeah, Drazian had a basic idea of those before because Azuri is a time storm drake.
Yeah.
She's a time storm dragon, so he was aware of dragons originally originating in other planes of existence, but like as a concept. But now he's actually reading, so these are where all these different ones come from and how that actually works.
Yeah. So you get more of those. Something you do see that are kind of two categories of dragons that are less talked about. You have your chromatic dragons, you have your metallic dragons, you have your gem dragons, right, of which Crystal is a part of, because the Crystal Dragon is part of the gem dragon kind of hierarchy. You have what is generally, you've generally coined planar dragons, in the sense that these are dragons that are from other planes of existence type of stuff. Whereas like Feywild dragons, Shadowfell dragons, Celestial dragons, whatever, like all those more unique dragons that are essentially on outskirts of civilization and dimensions that really don't cross over to you guys. So you there's like there is a category for them which is planar dragons, referencing extra planar, right? So there's those guys, and that's like a catch-all for basically anybody and any of the dragons who originate from not the material plane.
Yeah.
So catch-all term almost. And there is mentions of a fourth. This will be a fifth one, actually. Sorry, a fifth type of true dragon almost, because you have your wormlings and all that stuff, which are separate worms and all that. It's kind of a separate category. These are actual dragons, and you see some mentions of those, but nothing that whoever this like fifth sect of dragons are, they haven't been a part of history for a while. Like they're like not that their existence is noted, but for whatever reason, they're not prominent.
Do they have a name, or is it just a fifth archetype that's just mentioned in passing?
Mentioned. There's no. They don't get named in this book specifically, but there is like, it's one of those where there is several paragraphs about like, oh yeah, there was also this fifth sect of dragons that was once part of influencing the world, but have since then fallen into either like they've gone away for whatever reason. And they are supposedly based on what you see in this dragon writing book. Supposedly, this fifth sect of dragons, whoever they are like arbiters and peacekeepers almost. Like they're like gems are sort of neutral, but whereas the gem dragons are kind of self-centered isn't a way to put gem dragons, but they're like they don't care about the grander scheme of things. A lot of them, like they kind of keep to themselves. They're kind of just like we vibe on our own, like isolationistic almost. This sect of dragons were like embedded like as arbiters and peacekeepers and like essentially facilitating between the other sects. They like fill the gap in between everybody else.
And I like can Dre kind of like icy make a stab that this could have been potentially how the Time Storm Drakes originated?
You make another check. You can make another
another Discovery lore. Okay.
Yeah.
25.
25. Okay, give me 1 second. What'd you say you got?
25.
Okay. It could be, but your inclination is that time storm, like that time storm drakes. They're probably, if anything, probably closer to Canada than anything else in terms of classification. The one that you see mentioned is they are. They were at one point in time, again, like I said, arbiters, peacekeepers, like keepers of the balance, essentially, actively involved in draconian politics and all that stuff, which given the way some dragons are, is not an easy task. Specifically, there's some spoken about as some sort of like a great journey, or something similar to that, like almost like an exodus, of this fifth sect of dragons that like they left the world some time ago, and haven't come back since.
Gotcha.
Which is why they've fallen out of history. Like they've been gone for a while, and you can try to find out more about them if you would like, but you'll probably have to like library hunt and try to look up documents and things, because it's like they were very
maybe a conversation to have with Rudis and Sierra.
Could be.
I think next session because at some stage I want to speak to them again after doing this stuff. So maybe next week a thing for Dre to do would be go and speak to them about it.
Yep. Yeah, that's not a problem. And then let's see here. And on Friday evening,
Mm-hmm.
as it gets later into the night, you guys all wind down to do your own things. Um, uh, Isaru. Oh, hey Chris.
Asaru?
Yeah, Isaru.
Oh, I didn't know that you were saying my name. I thought you said Isaru. I'm like, what is
No,
that?
What?
Hey, I had no idea. No, my bad.
Ace
I was
the
like,
goal.
what is Isaru?
When
I was like, is that a new character I don't know the name of? No, my bad.
You're good.
Mr. Bunny.
Oh. Aceroni. When does Aceroni usually do?
Go to sleep, you said?
Yeah.
When they're tired, I guess. Like, if they are not, if the conversation is done between Dre and Geraldine, and there's nothing else going on there, then that's it. They'll go. They'll just go to bed.
Okay.
If there's no studying to be done, that.
Yeah, this is like Friday night. So okay.
Ace doesn't really have like an established
schedule.
Really anything. I mean, I guess they met those jam session guys, but
Right. Have you gone back to them since?
no, haven't reached out. I guess a Friday night wouldn't be a bad idea to do that. I don't know if we've got time remaining in this session to really.
You can probably do it over
explore that.
because there's gonna be a date going on, so you probably Ace can go hang out with the with them. But in any case, the reason I'm asking is as you're like in your room because you're on the first floor, no? Right.
Yeah, on the first floor.
Yeah, as you're kind of like, getting yourself ready for bed and whatnot, just doing your nightly routine, winding down. You hear like something hit your window, like somebody tossed a pebble at your window. Just dink.
All right. The window's probably a little bit above Ace height, so Ace like peeks up through the window to see what's going on.
Okay, maybe perception check.
Okay, sure. Perception. Looks like a dirty little 20.
Nice.
Damn. Did you say it like that?
It's a dirty little 20.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Got some bangers this episode.
Yeah, truly.
Ellen Keller could fucking
That was
make
crazy.
that would
Eli and I were laughing.
That was your best since Greatest Story Never Told, and he's got 2 shields. Like,
That was crazy.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of peek over the windowsill, and you said you gotta. You want to say that? What you got again?
Just a dirty, nasty, slutty little 20.
Ugh.
Okay, I didn't like that part then.
What?
That's the reaction I wanted. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't
didn't like
it.
that.
You requested it specifically. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but you went a little bit extra than I thought you were gonna do it.
Give a little
You gotta put a
something,
little bit of spice on it, bro.
Yeah, a little spice. But you see there somebody who's kind of like for a moment you don't see anybody and like kind of melding almost from your periphery, like they were kind of behind something. You see an individual kind of step. They don't cross the property line at all. They're like basically on the street. And just like once they see the top half of your head, essentially poke at your big old forehead,
Jesus.
they just kind of like make eye contact and just like has a letter. They kind of just like are like this.
Ace uses message and goes, we don't have the property. It's not a minefield. You can come over here.
There's a moment before they kind of just like glance across the yard and shrug and just step forward.
It is a minefield. They explode.
They explode. But you do get to be like, yeah.
Do they like respond to the message and say come over here or what? Like Ace can climb around the window, I guess. Like,
Okay. Yeah. They, as you said, just like got a package for you.
Okay,
information
sure.
that was requested.
This seems all right. Fine. And so Ace kind of like opens up the window and like clambers out the window. Goes, this seems optimally shady.
Yeah. You walk up to this person, and they're larger in height. That is, they seem to be presenting female, with with a big old kind of hat, that kind of, it's like a wide brim hat that would for people of perhaps Tyler or Dragon's height would try to obscure their eyes a little bit, but because you are shorter than them, so they're kind of don't block anything from the hat seemed to be this positioned in such a way that if they were eye level with people, the eyes would be covered.
It's like Storyteller in a tavern hat, except I'm short enough that I could just see.
Exactly. Yeah. Point kind of defeated. Yeah, they seem to be presenting female. You can see they have really pale skin, like grayish almost. Actually, you're not sure because of the moonlight. You don't know if they just like are naturally pale or they have gray skin tone. So you're like, it's either they're super pale or gray skin tone, one or the other. They left something on the back of the by the sidewalk essentially that they didn't carry with them, or presumably their gear or cart or whatever they were carrying about at the time. Instead, they have a kind of dressed in leathers and has a what looks to be a big chunky revolver at their hip. Feels very Wild West to this person.
Sick.
Big old chunky revolver that you can see is like kind of carved with runes and arcane sigils on it. And they kind of walk up to you. And yeah, they're like 6'2", maybe 6'3". So they're tall. Like especially for presumably you don't see any super identifying right for some sort of human or near human woman. Fairly tall. But they have a letter and kind of thick actually. It's it's not like it's like almost like actually more like a folder, like a manila folder type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk up to you, and they as you get up to them, they give you like an incline of their head in greeting, and just hold out their hand with the manila folder, and as you kind of walk up to them, they go, as requested, documents in relation to whatever you had spoken about to our mutual friend.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Do you need anything?
No. I appreciate the offer, though.
Excellent. Thank you. That's all I'll need. You have a good rest of your night.
Likewise. If you need any assistance, my details are part of the information provided in case. She kind of looks back at the house, looks back at you, in case you need to be discreet.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Ace is getting the vibe that, like, Ace will talk, but Ace is getting the vibe that this person is really wanting to keep up the, like, mystique, cool, like down on the low sneaky vibe, so they're just gonna take the letter and head right back to into the random
Well,
mansion.
you get the vibe that this the way that they've presented the information to you feels like a contracted third party, perhaps something like that. I mean, Dale did mention that he has contacts and other things that like run in that sort of circles. Presumably, this individual is one of them. Not like they don't work for Dale per se, but they run in the same circles and was presumably asked to deliver this to you.
Okay, excellent. Ace will take the big sturdy letter and head back to their room and read it.
Yep. As they turn around. Once you make sure you're good, they turn around and walk back. And you see, you notice several things about them as well. Their eyes are a bright red as they were looking down on you, and then when they walk back to the side street to where what you thought was maybe a cart or like a chest or a backpack or something that you just left over there, they kind of like sling the thing over their shoulder and it's just a big old like metal coffin that you're just carrying on their back.
That's sick.
And they walk off. And you hear the jingle of like metal, just think like spurs almost as they walk away.
Is that cowboy vampire? What weird shit is going? All right, whatever.
Ace just like kind of talk to themselves as they kind of clamber back through the window, and they go to read the letter. What's it got on there?
Yeah. Well, first you get what to Dale's best knowledge is lowdown of like breakdown of like territory distribution, like what set is where, who like this 3 blocks is this person's hood, that that type of stuff. You get like breakdowns. Nothing is really like especially since the Worldsquall, not a lot of it is like super set in stone. Everybody had some effect from that. So this is more of like, here's the rough borderline territories for like gangs and whatnot that like you may find. Some and you can see like footnotes from Dale, and it's just basically like some of these gangs is literally just 4 dudes who like protect their block of houses and that's it. And then like some others are like a proper sort of like militia type of a thing, right? So it kind of ranges, it runs the whole gamut. It's basically like a who's who of Agalane in terms of like the unofficial organizations. Which is just, he doesn't go into too much detail about it because that's not the main point of it. You can see they've earmarked several locations that you may want to consider investigating. I'll let you know what those are, out of stream, so we don't have to sit here and talk about that. But yeah, you get essentially basically the contents of the letter is the sort of who's who in Agalane's underworld, essentially, as far as Dale is aware. He's not omnipotent, so he doesn't know everything or omniscient. So there may be some that are missed, but this is the major players. You get some info on potential places you can scout out to see if they want to investigate any further, and then a handful of places that, as far as Dale knows, either has financial or material connections to like foreign relations, whether that be the theocracy or whatever else, right? Like foreign agents, essentially. And these are people that are like previously mentioned. They could just be on the bankroll. They could just be like proxies. But there also could be the potential that they are direct agents, right? Dale didn't check on it himself per se, so here's like, basically this is what I know. You can figure out if you want to follow up on these leads or not. That's up to you.
Okay.
And it seems like a lot of them are, and which also tracks with what Drazian had said to you, where Drazian was like, all the theocracy, was run out of town essentially. The way that these, whether it be mercenaries or whatever, work is, it does feel like they're like a vanguard almost, like scouting almost. Not, doesn't seem like there's a, bureaucracy presence here. Of course, not so soon after Worldsquall had just happened and they got run out, but like they're it doesn't feel like they're just cutting their losses and forgetting about this place entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some measure to like try to put a foot like a toe back in. It's very half-hearted at the moment, but you don't know if that's going to change in the coming weeks or not.
All right.
So it's at its infancy right now, whatever measure they're doing.
All right.
Oh, and then you have a list of some contacts there that Dale said is trustworthy in terms of, they use trustworthy in underground circles generally means that if you pay them, they're good for their coin. Like they're good for what you pay them,
sure.
and they won't betray you. The type of thing. And everything Dell said. Dell gives you all these names, right? And basically was like, hey, here's a fence if you need a fence. Here's some black market dealers if you need to acquire stuff that's a little bit on the grayer side of things. All with the caveat, like, you should probably meet these people because you don't have a working relationship with them. I can recommend you, but that only gets so far.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so basically, you got to do the legwork, but it's like essentially an intro package to starting your own underground contact ring.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And you do get the contact for the individual that you just met as well, in case you need essentially muscle or delivery or whatever.
And what was that person's name?
Bloody Mary.
Sick.
Bless you.
And that's that. So, with that said, I know it's almost when we usually wrap up. So what I'm going to do here is if you guys can let me know what your plans for the next session are, and then we'll do a little wrap up. So next session is going to go into the weekend. So what is people's plans for the weekend? So we know what we're expecting.
Date with GB.
Yes.
Date with GB.
Yeah. I don't quite know yet. I think I don't really know right now. I know. I guess the data set up.
That data setup, I presume, at some point, Ace is gonna go try to start their journey of this underground.
Yeah.
That is definitely I have a lot of things that I have written down on possibilities of where I want to branch that story into. There's a lot of cool things that I have here of ideas that I could possibly have. Yeah.
Sounds good. And then I think Dre has training, and you wanted to go meet with Headmaster as well, so you can do that over the weekend probably, because he is going to come by if you remember to do some beginning training.
He said he would come by the mansion. I want to do training with him and speak to Sierra if she comes with him, and I also want to make inquiries into the school about what processes and paperwork I would need to follow to start setting up this kind of training group club for my young Avengers group essentially, and how I would get in contact with other schools throughout White Fawn and such.
Okay, sounds good. Alrighty. With that, I think that's where we can wrap up for today.
Yeah.
And then we'll come in next one with probably start with the date first, since that's set in stone, and then we can go through whatever everybody else is doing that weekend.
Hell yeah. Do you have a right target?
Sweet.
I will be able to check in a second, or I should be if this this laptop would stop being fucking slow. Sorry,
No
just
chance.
Give me 1 second, because this is for some reason logged it back into my personal rather than.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Young bear with me 1 second while I sort this. Because I need to see who...
I have a lot of different ideas. This is a good session.
Perception Studio are alive, so we can raid into them, and
Cool.
go and say hello. So give me a second, and I will get that set up.
Oh, Chris, here's the for your reference. I'll put it
What are you
in the
talking
chat. Oh, I'll just put it in the chat. I'll move it to NPC references later.
Sure.
Okay, sweet. Raid has been created, guys.
Oh, god damn!
Thank you for an amazing session, Brandon, as always.
You got it.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yay.
Yeah.
Peace.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.